Hi, my name is Ashlyn, and I'm on a journey to own a mortgage-free home in the next 5 years. I think everybody is feeling the pinch of inflation right now. I recently came across a kind of genre of videos of people talking about their experience with inflation and wondering what they're going to do to move forward and how they're going to kind of get out of this inflation pinch that they're in. And most of these videos were pretty depressing. There was no action plan that came from them. It was just kind of putting the complaint of inflation out there and just voicing it for the world to hear, which is fair. The financial stress that is coming from the way that things are right now, the prices of everything going up, it's really stressful, and sometimes you do just need to vent about it. But I think it helps a lot more to create a plan of how you're going to change your situation rather than just put your feelings out about it and then just move on. So we are super fortunate to have set ourselves up for the past few years so that now that inflation is happening, we're not really feeling it too much. Of course it's there and we're having to adjust the way that our budget is, but there's not any financial stress here for us. So I wanted to talk today about how you can inflation proof your life. So the first thing, and this is kind of the vibe that I got from a lot of the videos that I saw in this inflation complaining genre of videos, and this might sound a little harsh, but no one can change your situation but you. There's not going to be a superhero or a government or a good Samaritan that's going to swoop in and save you from the financial stress and burden you're under right now. You are the only person that can do that. The person that's looking at you in the mirror is the one that is spending your money, and while you can't control how much things cost, you can control the things that you're buying. And sometimes it's hard to remember that if you want to see a change, you need to be the one to make a change, especially when there are so many kind of empty promises being made right now that feel like they can save you from the situation that you're in. You are the one that's going to have to make these changes to set yourself up for a life that you are not constantly worrying about your finances. That can feel really, really overwhelming, having the burden of this change on you, but it's also empowering because you know that you're the one that you need to depend on to make these changes. So I hope these tips help you kind of come up with a plan of what you're going to do to inflation-proof your life. We're gonna keep this simple with 3 things. The first is to get on a budget. This one is huge. You have to know exactly how much money is coming in, what's going out, and where that money is going to. There is power in knowledge, and while it may feel scary to kind of look into your finances and see what's happening, it's so important to do, so get on a budget. The second thing is to pay off your debt. This can be a huge undertaking depending on where you're at with your finances, but paying off your debt frees up your income so that you have room in your budget to be able to afford the things you need and want. Paying off your debt takes a lot of sacrifice, and oftentimes it's not fun to do, but if you picture how much money, even just do the math, how much of your money is going towards payments, things like your car payment or your student loans or any other loan that you have in your name, things that are coming out every single month that are things that you've done in your past and are not helping you move towards your future. Add those up and see how much more money you could have to work with in your budget if that debt was gone. I made a video about how we saved $10,000 this year pretty quickly. I will have it linked somewhere on the screen right now, and I talked a lot about the principles and the sacrifices we've had to make to do that, and those I think also apply to working to pay off your debt. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, then check out that video after this one. The third thing, and this is the one that has brought the most peace to my finances and just my life in general, is to create an emergency fund. So the way that we've set up our emergency fund and kind of how I think of emergency funds is this should be money that you set aside that is 3 to 6 months of expenses. I think right now ours is more like 10 months of expenses, but that's just because I'm kind of a financially anxious person and I like to have more money. But 3 to 6 months is great depending on your situation. And the rule is you cannot touch that money unless it is a true emergency. Things like Christmas and that concert that came up that you actually really want to go to are not emergencies. You have to be really strict with yourself on this, but having an emergency fund put aside for things that come up in life, and they will come up, is crucial for having and creating financial peace. So that's it. Those are my 3 steps. And while just having 3 things to do makes it seem really simple, accomplishing that, starting from 1 and going to 3, if you haven't really begun on any of it, is a lot of work. It takes a lot of sacrifice and it can feel really, really daunting, but it's way doable. So many people have done it. We did it when we were newlyweds. I was just 19 and it was really hard. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it, like I said, but it's so, so worth it to be able to just breathe and not have financial stress and the burden of all these bills to pay hanging over you when you can't afford them, especially as inflation is kind of creeping up more and more and making it harder and harder to afford the things that you're used to. But like I said, you're the one that has to make the changes to create a different kind of life. If you don't like where you're at right now in your finances, then you need to be the one that makes the changes to get to a better place. I have linked a few things that we have found on our kind of financial journey that have helped us, that have motivated us and taught us the tools and principles that we've needed. So I will link some of those in the description if you're interested in checking those out, and I really hope that they help you too. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful at all, I would love it if you would subscribe. I am working to try to get 500 subscribers by the new year, which is pretty far away from me right now. I would love it if you would subscribe and help me out in reaching that goal. If you liked it, then I think you will like this video that I have linked on the screen right now, and I will see you again next week for another video. Bye!